Pleasant day to everyone. Week 4 in basic calculus is about the derivative of a function. For the learning competencies, first we will illustrate the tangent line to the graph of a function at a given point. Then applies the definition of the derivative of a function at a given number. And then relate the derivative to the slope of the tangent line. All right, so before we jump to our lesson proper, before we study about the definition, kung ano nga ba talaga yung derivative, anong meaning ng derivative. So we will recall about the tangent line. So for our introduction, okay, from the graphs below, we will be identifying which line is a tangent line. Okay, so ano nga ba ulit yung tangent line? Kung maalala natin, okay, so tangent line, okay, intersects a graph at only one point. Okay, so here we have three graphs. Okay, so for our first graph, okay, the red line, okay, touches the graph at 2 points. Okay, so again, pag tangent line, it only touches the curve at only one point. So the first one is not a tangent line, but it is called the secant line. Okay, so this red line is secant of the parabola. Okay, so for our second graph, again, it intersects the curve at 2 points also. So again, this is also a secant line. Okay? So for our third one, as we can see, the red line touches the curve at only one point. Okay? So we can say that the third graph is showing us a tangent line to a curve or to a parabola. Okay, so this red line is tangent to the parabola. So that's it for the tangent line. Okay, so now for our first tasks, okay, so we will be drawing one tangent line on each graph I will be showing. Okay, so maraming possible na tangent line sa ating curve. Okay, again, basta tinatouch or ini-intersect lang niya yung graph at only one point. So for example, one tangent line to this graph or to this curve is this. Okay, so the line touches only one point of the curve. Okay, so pwede ring the line goes that way. Okay, a horizontal line which touches the graph at this point. Okay, so that is for the tangent line. Okay, so for our next example or next curve, okay, so we'll also be drawing one tangent line on this graph. All right, so the green line goes this way. Okay, so it touches only one point on our graph. Okay, so you can also draw a tangent line by yourself. Okay, so pwede ring, for example, another horizontal line which touches the curve at the lowest point of the parabola. Okay, so basta ang line na ito-drawing ay nag-intersect lang sa ating curve at only one point. And that will be the tangent line. For our third example, so we have here the straight line or a linear curve or a line. Okay? So straight line lang siya. Okay? So the tangent line to this straight line is also the line itself. Okay? All right. So now for our second task, we'll be recalling about the slope of a line. So paano ba tayo kumukuha ng slope? Okay? So we have here 2 points and gagamitin natin yung dalawang point na given na yon. Okay? So meron tayong dalawang coordinate and then we'll be using that to get the slope of that line. Okay? So what is the formula for the slope of if we are given only 2 points? So here's the formula for the slope m. Okay, so rise over run, we have the y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay, so for our first example, we have the point 5, 2, okay, and 2, 3. So we are going to connect those points. Okay, for example, so we have the 5, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, and another point 1, 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we are going to connect those points. We will be having a line. Okay, so we'll be determining the slope of that line. Okay, so substituting sa ating formula for our first example, so m is equal to, so dapat consistent tayo sa pagpili ng kung ano yung second and first variable. So for our y sub 2, so ito na lang yung pangalawa natin. Ito yung first. So y sub 2 daw, so that is 3. Then minus y sub 1. Okay, ano ba yung y sub 1? That is 2. Okay, so x sub 2 is 2 minus x sub 1 is 5. Okay, so di ba yung first coordinate ay x and then yung second ay yung y. Right? So we have 3 minus 2 is 1 over negative 3 for the denominator. So we have the slope of negative 1/3 for our first line or first example. Okay, so that slope is negative 1/3. Our second example, we have 0, 3, and negative 2, 5. Okay, so again, we'll be substituting the value. Okay, so you may calculate the slope. Okay, and our answer will be m is equal to negative 1. Our third one, okay, so pagma-minus lang po, m is equal to negative 8 minus 5 all over 0 minus 3. So we have negative 13 over negative 3. So we have positive 13 over 3. Okay, So that is the slope of the third one. Okay, so 13/3. Number 4, we have 1/2, 3, and 1/5. So the slope is 4. Okay, so try also number 5. We have 4, 0, and 3, -5. Okay, slope is equal to 5. Okay, so recall lang po yun. First, sa ating tangent line, and then second, ni-recall din natin about having the slope given 2 points. Okay, so with this given, okay, so we can determine the equation of a line. Okay, so pag hinanap sa atin yung equation ng line passing through these points and having a slope of, okay, yung kinuha natin. So we will be having the point slope form. Okay, so point slope form is or goes like this. So y minus y sub o is equal to m times x minus x sub o. Okay, so y sub o and x sub o, pwede tayong kumuha ng isang point lang dito sa ating example. For example, gamitin natin itong 2, 3 and then yung slope niya. Okay, so ano kaya ang equation ng line, okay, passing through 2, 2, 3 and having a slope of -1/3. So we'll just substitute it to our point slope form. So y minus y sub o is our given y, which is 3, is equal to -1/3 multiplied to x minus, okay, if x sub o is yung given natin na x. So that is 2. Okay, so simplify our answer. So we have y minus 3 is equal to -1/3 x plus 2/3. Okay, so further simplify. So we will have 1/3 x plus y minus 3 minus 2/3 is equal to 0. Okay, so -3 minus 2/3. Okay, so -3 minus 2/3 is -11/3. So we have x over 3 plus y minus 11/3. That is equal to 0. So we can multiply the whole equation to 3 to further simplify. So we will have, okay, x plus 3y minus 11. That will be equal to 0. So that is the equation of the line passing through 2, 3 and having a slope of -1/3. Okay, so for example, yan yung mga given sa atin. Okay, now, all right, so now, unti-unti na tayong mag-jump sa ating lesson proper, which is the derivative. Okay, so now my question is, what if we are asked to draw a tangent line passing to the curve, or to the curve, tangent line to the curve passing through a given point, and ask what is the equation of that line? So for example, this curve or this parabola, okay, so may given tayo na point. Okay, gusto ko mag-drawing kayo ng tangent line na passing through this point. So that line looks like this. So we have the tangent line. Dapat i-intersect niya yung curve at that point. Okay, so parang ganyan yung line natin. Okay, so ganyan yung mag-iitsura ng line. Okay, and we will be asked, ano kaya yung equation ng line na yon? Okay, so equation of the tangent line, okay, passing through a given point on the parabola. Okay? So, paano natin kukunin yung equation ng line na yon? So, kanina, we have the point slope form, di ba? So, y minus y sub 0 is equal to the slope multiply to x minus x sub 0. So, we will be using this point slope form to find the equation of that line or that tangent line. Pero hindi tayo given ng slope, okay? But given sa atin yung x sub 0 and y sub 0. So that is, for example, 3 and 8. Okay, so that is 3, 8. So given po yun. Okay, so that is point in the parabola. Right? So ang hahanapin natin na lang ay yung slope. Okay? So ngayon, paano natin hahanapin kaya yung slope? Okay? So first, let's have this. Okay? So we have the graph f of x is equal to x squared minus 2. So that parabola, okay, so is f of x is equal to x squared minus 2. And then we have a given line, okay, passing through yung given point ko kanina. Okay. So example lang, so that is 3.193 and 8.193. So example lang po yan. Okay? So gusto ko passing through that point. Okay? So first we have the okay, f of x is equal to x plus 5. That line is f of x is equal to x plus 5. Okay? So yan po yung equation niya. Okay? And it passes through 2 points on our curve. So yung given na curve na point ko kanina on the parabola and another point on the parabola. Okay, so this line is not a tangent line but a secant line. Okay, so this line is secant to the parabola. Okay, so we find another line which is tangent to the parabola. So yun yung hinahanap ko eh. So tangent to the parabola. So how are we going to find the equation of the tangent line? So in finding the equation of the line, we need 2 points or 1 point and a slope. Okay? So but on the figure, we only have the point given. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. So meron lang tayong isang point na given. Di natin alam tong isang point na to. For example, so paano natin kaya hanapin yung tangent line? Okay, so ang tangent line, isa lang rin naman yung isang point lang yung ini-intersect niya sa graph. Okay, so saan natin kukunin yung isang point? We will be needing another point on the secant line, right? So magde-define tayo na isa pang point, okay, on our secant line. And if we are going to use that, or if we are going to get the limit of the slope of the secant line, we can get the slope of the tangent line. Okay? So ipapakita ko sa inyo using the Desmos. Okay, so we have here the parabola given and the point on the parabola. So which is 3.193 and 8.193. Okay, so ang hinahanap natin is yung equation ng line tangent to the curve, which looks like this. Okay, so kanina, dinefine din natin, for example, we have a secant line that goes or that looks like this, passing through the point on our or passing through the given point and another point on the parabola. Okay, so we have the secant line, right? Okay, so what if ilapit ko ng ilapit yung point? Okay, so yung another point on the parabola dun sa given na point ko. So, for example, I have a point that goes here. Okay, so dapat ma-intersect ko yung point na to and yung given na point natin. Okay, so again, itong blue na point natin is given and constant siya doon. So, hindi natin naalisin. But, imomove ko yung isang point. Okay, so papalapitin ko ng papalapitin yan sa ating given na point. So, our secant line goes this. Okay, so, dapat ma-intersect ko yung dalawang point. Okay. So, yung secant natin looks like this. Okay. So, what if papalapitin ko pa yung point ko? Okay. So, lagay ko na dito. Okay. Isang point natin ay ilalagay ko na dito. Okay. So, dapat makabuo ako ng line passing through those points. Okay. So, kung mapapansin nyo, habang inilalapit ko yung another point on the graph, okay, so unti-unti nating makukuha yung tangent line. Okay? So again, nagsimula tayo, di ba, sa secant line. Okay? So the point starts from here. Okay? And then our line pass the given point and the another point on the secant or another point on the parabola. Okay? Inilapit ko yung point on the parabola dun sa given point. Okay? So kung napansin natin, unti-unting nagiging tangent line to the parabola yung ating secant line. Okay? So mathematically, paano natin ko-computein yung slope nun? Okay? So mathematically, ganito po yun. So balik tayo sa ating PowerPoint. Okay? So to find the slope of the tangent line, okay, so we will have to compute the limit of the y minus y sub 0 over x minus x sub 0 as x approaches x sub 0. Okay? So, as x approaches x sub 0, di ba yung point natin? Okay, inilalapit natin ng inilalapit. Okay, it approaches the given x sub 0. Okay, so that is how we compute the slope of the tangent line. So another formula, di ba? We have the y that is also equal to f of x. Equal lang po yan, y and f of x. So we have the limit of f of x minus f of x sub 0 over x minus x sub 0. So given po itong f of x natin, okay? So that is the curve or the parabola. F of x sub 0, paano natin makuha yan? We will have to substitute the given point sa ating equation. So f of x sub 0 all over x minus x sub 0. Okay? So let's have an example. Okay? So ito rin po yung pinakita ko kanina. Okay? So habang inilalapit natin or ina-approach nung another x na to, okay? Si x sub 0, so this is the given point. Okay? So habang lumalapit tayo dun sa value ni x sub 0, okay? So unti-unti natin ding nakukuha yung tangent line. Okay, nagsimula sa secant line, okay, naging tangent line. So as it approaches, as x approaches, x sub 0. Okay? So for our first example, so we will find the equation of the tangent line 2y is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 5. So I have here the equation of the parabola. So ito po yung graph nun. Okay, so that is the parabola. Okay, so equation of the tangent line to this parabola at x is equal to 1. So nasan ba yung x is equal to 1? So ito po yun. So at x is equal to 1, okay. So ito yung point at x is equal to 1. Okay? So we will be finding or we will be looking for the coordinates, okay, passing through the parabola. Okay, so we have the 1. Ihanapin na lang natin si y. Okay, so paano natin makukuha si y? Okay, we will just have to substitute 1 to our formula. So formula tayo, y is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 5. Thus, okay, substituting 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 5. That gives us 1 minus 4 plus 5. Okay, so 1 minus 4 is negative 3 plus 5. That is 2. Okay, so yung y pala, y coordinate ay equal sa 2. Okay, so we have the given point on the graph. So 1, 2 yung coordinates niya. Okay, so hahanapin natin yung equation ng tangent line passing through that point. Okay, so the tangent line looks like this. Okay, so ganyan yung tangent line. Okay, and kukunin natin yung equation ng line na yan. Okay, so we have the given. So meron na tayong given which is the x sub 0 which is equal to 1. Okay, so we have to find the f of x sub 0. Yun na yung kinuha rin natin kanina. So f of x sub 0 is f of 1. So substitute lang natin yung 1 dun sa ating equation. That is 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 5 is equal to 2. That is equal to, okay. So yan po yung mga given. So wala pa tayong slope. So para mabuo natin yung equation ng line, okay? So kailangan natin ng point slope form, di ba? So yung y minus y sub 0 is equal to m times x minus x sub 0. Meron na tayong given x sub 0, na-compute na natin yung y sub 0, which is also the f of x sub 0. Okay? So ang hahanapin na lang natin ay yung slope. Okay? So we will be having the formula for the slope of the tangent line. Okay? Yung pinakita ko kanina. So we have for this slope, okay, so we can focus here. M is equal to the limit of f of x minus f of x sub 0 over x minus x sub 0 as x approaches x sub 0. So substitution method lang. Okay. So for our M, we have, okay, so the limit of, okay, so ano ba yung f of x? That is also our equation. That is also y. F of x is x squared minus 4x plus 5, okay, minus f of x sub 0, yung f of x sub 0, yun yung kinompute natin kanina, which is equal to 2. All over x is yan, x minus x sub 0, ano ba yung f of, or ano ba yung x sub 0? That is the given, okay, that is 1. Right? So huwag kakalimutan na ine-evaluate pa lang natin yung limit as x approaches also x sub 0. So which is 1. Okay? So simplify natin. So pwede ba nating i-substitute agad yung 1 sa ating function? So hindi po, dahil kapag sinubstitute natin yung 1 sa ating x, magkakaroon tayo ng undefined na value. So isi-simplify po muna natin yung ating equation. Okay, so we have m is equal to the limit of x squared minus 4x plus 5 is minus 2 minus 4x. 5 minus 2 is positive 3. All over x minus 1 as x approaches 1. Okay, so tuloy lang po. We can factor this out. So m is equal to the limit of, okay, x minus 1. Ang factor niya ay x minus 1 and x minus 3. Okay, so we have x minus 1 also on the denominator. As x approaches 1, so we cancel out x minus 1. So we have now the x minus 3. So we will have to evaluate the limit of x minus 3 na lang as x approaches 1. And pag nag-evaluate tayo ng limit, sinasubstitute lang natin yung 1 sa x. So 1 minus 3, that gives us a value of negative 2. Okay? So and that is for our slope. Nakuha na natin yung slope natin, which is negative 2. So given tayo ng x sub 0, which is 1, na-compute natin f of x sub 0, which is equal to 2. Okay? So yung tatlong kailangan natin para mabuo yung equation ng line na to, okay? ay na-compute na natin. So we will have to substitute the given values or the computed values to the point slope form. Okay, so point slope form is y minus y sub 0 is equal to the m times x minus x sub 0. So we substitute y minus y sub 0, yun yung f of x sub 0, which is 2, is equal to, okay, negative 2 yung slope natin, multiply to x minus x sub 0 is given, which is 1. Okay, so further simplify lang, y minus 2 is equal to negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Okay, so lipat natin sa parehong side ng ating equation. So lipat ko yung negative 2x, magiging 2x plus y minus 2. Okay, lipat ko yung positive 2 sa right. Okay, papunta sa left. So magiging negative 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so we have 2x plus y minus 4 is equal to 0. So that's basically it. Na-compute na natin yung tangent line to our given curve, which is the parabola. So this passes through the given point 1, 2. Okay. So that's how we compute for the equation of the tangent line at a given point. Okay. So ito rin po yon yung pag-compute na ng tangent line. So we use this formula. Okay. So ito po yung ating final answer. Okay. Ang step lang ay first, you can write the given x sub 0. Okay. And then find f of x sub 0. Okay. So and then we will get the slope of the tangent line. Okay. So slope of the tangent line, evaluate the limit of f of x minus f of x sub 0 all over x minus x sub 0 as x approaches x sub 0. Next na process natin, nakuha na natin tong tatlong to. Okay. So substitute na natin sa point slope form. Okay, and then simplify. So that is the process of finding the equation of the tangent line to a curve at a given point. So let's have another example para hindi tayo malito. Okay? So another example, we have find the equation of the tangent line to the curve. Okay, so ito na yung curve natin, y is equal to x squared minus 2 at x is equal to negative 2. Okay? So ang kakailanganin natin, kay given x sub 0, that is equal to negative 2, f of negative 2, okay, we will have to compute. So f of negative 2, substitute yung negative 2 sa ating equation. f of negative 2 is equal to negative 2 squared minus 2. Okay, simplify that we will have 4 minus 2, and that will be equal to 2. Okay, so we'll be having now the slope of the tangent line. So the limit of f of x minus f of x sub 0 all over x minus x sub 0 as x approaches x sub 0. So substitute lang natin sa mga variable na yan. Okay? So the limit of, ito yung given x f of x which is equal to x squared minus 2 and then minus, okay, so itong 2 that is f of x sub 0 all over x minus, okay, negative 2. So si negative 2 ay si x sub 0. Okay, simplify. We will have m is equal to the limit of x squared minus 4 over x plus 2 as x approaches negative 2. Further simplify, dahil kapag in-evaluate natin yung limit by just substituting negative 2, so hindi po pwede magkakaroon ng 0 sa denominator. So simplify pa natin. Itong x squared minus 4, pwede pa yang i-factor out. Okay, and we will get x plus 2 of times x minus 2. We can cancel out x plus 2. We will get only dx minus 2 na lang yung natira. So we will get the limit of x minus 2 as x approaches negative 2. Okay, so by simply substituting, we get the slope of the tangent line, which is negative 2 minus 2, that is equal to negative 4. All right, so meron na tayong f x sub 0, f of x sub 0, and the slope. So mabubuo na natin again yung point slope form. So y minus 2, okay? So y minus y sub 0, ano ba yung y sub 0 ko? That is 2, positive 2. Is equal to m. Ano ba yung m na nakuha? That is negative 4. Times x minus x sub 0. So, bakit naging positive 2? So, that is x minus, okay, so yung x sub 0 ay negative 2. So, double negative. Kaya naging x plus 2. Further simplifying this equation, we have y minus 2 is equal to negative 4x minus 8. Okay, so transferring the terms to the same side of the equation, we get 4x plus y minus 2 plus 8. And for our final answer, 4x plus y plus 6. And that is equal to 0. So yun yung final answer natin. So ito yung equation ng tangent line to the curve x squared minus 2. Okay? So tingnan natin kung tangent nga ba. So pwede ba nating i-graph? Okay, so try nating i-graph itong x squared minus 2 and yung 4x plus y plus 6. So y is equal to x squared minus 2 and 4x plus y plus 6. 4x plus y plus 6. So this the equation or the graph of the parabola y is equal to x squared minus 2. Okay. And then yung line na tangent dyan sa graph na yan at x is equal to -2 is, okay, so yung naka-violet. Okay, so that tangent line passes through -2 at x is equal to -2 kasi yung hinahanap sa atin. Okay, also, it only intersect the graph at one point only. Thus, okay, tama yung nakuha nating sagot. Okay? Now, sir, ano pong connect kaya ng mga ginawa nating yun sa derivative of a function? So, ano nga ba yung derivative ng function? So, yun yung title ng ating lesson for this week. Okay? So, we have the definition of the derivative. So, sabi dito, the derivative of a function is defined as the instantaneous change in rate. Okay? So in the previous topic, we have seen the formula for the slope of the tangent line. Is, di ba kinuha natin yung slope? Okay? So this is, yung slope is limit of f of x minus f of x sub 0 all over x minus x sub 0 as x approaches also x sub 0. So that is the slope of the tangent line. Okay? And the finding the specific derivative of a function at a given formula. Okay? Kung mapapansin nyo, ay same lang sila. Okay? So yung slope of the tangent line is also the derivative of the function at a given number. Okay? So yun pala yun. Okay? So the slope is the derivative. Okay? So yun na pala yun. Nakuha na natin kanina yung derivative ng function natin at a given point. Okay? So wag kakalimutan, okay, the derivative is defined as the instantaneous change in rate. Okay? So kinompute natin yung difference ni f of x and f of x sub 0 and then dinivide kay x minus x sub 0. All right, so we will now have some examples. So example number 1, find the derivative of the function f of x at x is equal to 2. So as simple as yung kanina, parang naghahanap lang tayo ng slope ng tangent line. So for our given, mas mabuti na isulat yung given para hindi nalilito. So we have the x sub 0, that is the given. X is equal to 2. And then f of x, that is given natin na function. And then that is equal to 2x squared minus 5x. So we will also be needing f of x sub 0. Okay, substituting 2 sa ating x sa ating formula. The f of x sub 0 is equal to 2 times 2 squared minus 5 times 2. Okay, so that is equal to -2. Okay, so meron na tayong x sub 0, f of x, and f of x sub 0. So compute na natin yung derivative ng function natin at x is equal to 2. So we have f prime of x. Okay, so formula is the same as the slope. Compute the limit of f of x minus f of x sub 0 all over x minus x sub 0 as x approaches x sub 0 also. Okay, so substituting f prime of x, that is equal to the limit of, given natin for f of x is 2x squared minus 5x minus f of x sub 0 is negative 2 all over x minus x sub 0 is 2, okay, as x approaches x sub 0, which is also 2. Okay, so simplify natin f of x, that is the limit of 2x squared minus 5x minus negative 2 will become positive 2 all over x minus 2 as x approaches 2. Okay? So, simplify pa natin. Pwede nating i-factor out yung nasa numerator. So, we will have the limit of, okay? So, ano kayang factor niyan? So, we have x minus 2 and 2x minus, okay, minus 1. Right? So, that is the factor of the expression on the numerator. Over x minus 2 as x approaches 2. So, cancel out x minus 2. Ang natira na lang is c 2x minus 1. So, f prime of x is equal to the limit of 2x minus 1 as x approaches 2. So, evaluating the limit, we will just substitute yung ina-approach ni x, which is 2. So, 2 times 2 minus 1, we get 4 minus 1. Our final answer is 3. So, the derivative of our function at x is equal to 2 is 3. Okay? So, yun na pala yung derivative at x is equal to 2. Okay? So, that's basically it. So, kanina, hinanap pa natin yung equation ng tangent line. Okay? So, ngayon, derivative lang ng ating function. Parang naghanap lang din tayo ng slope of the tangent line. Okay? So, another example. Let's find the derivative of the function f of x is equal to square root of 2x plus 7 at x is equal to 1. So for our given, we have x sub 0 that is equal to 1. F of x, yung given na function natin, f of x sub 0, substituting 1 sa mga x sa function natin, we have square root of 2 times 1 plus 7 and we get 3. Okay. Again, the formula for the derivative of the function at a given point is f prime of x is equal to, okay, so f prime po ang tawag dyan, f tapos apostrophe then x. The limit of f of x minus f of x sub 0 over x minus x sub 0 as x approaches x sub 0. Next. Okay, so sinubstitute lang. F of x is square root of 2x plus 7. And then si f of x sub 0 is 3 over x minus 1 as x approaches 1. So, paano kaya natin masisimplify ito? Okay, so hindi natin pwedeng basta i-substitute yung 1 sa ating x dahil magiging 0. That's why we have to simplify the expression. Okay, so we will have to multiply to the conjugate of the numerator. So the conjugate of the numerator, so paano ba yung conjugate? So it looks like this. So kung sa numerator natin, we have square root of 2x plus 7 minus 3. So multiply natin yung numerator and denominator to square root of 2x plus 7 plus 3. So ang conjugate nito ay itong square root of 2x plus 7 plus 3. Kung mapapansin natin, naging positive yung negative 3. Okay? So simplify natin. So pag minultiply natin yung conjugates, so we get mamamultiply ay yung first terms and the second terms. Okay, so we have square root of 2x plus 7 times square root of 2x plus 7 is 2x plus 7. And then negative 3 multiply to positive 3, we get negative 9. Okay. So for our denominator, we have x minus 1 times square root of 2x plus 7 plus 3. Further simplifying, we get 2x minus 2 over x minus 1 times square root of 2x plus 7 plus 3. Then, para ma-cancel natin si x minus 1 sa baba, so we factor out 2 sa numerator. That goes 2 times x minus 1 over x minus 1 times square root of 2x plus 7 plus 3. So we can cancel this out. So ang matitira na lang ay si 2 over square root of 2x plus 7 plus 3. Okay, so we just have to evaluate the limit of 2 over square root of 2x plus 7 plus 3 as x approaches 1. Okay, so evaluating the limit, we just have to substitute this value to the x. So we have square root of or 2 over square root of 2 times 1 plus 7 plus 3 will give us 2 over 6. Simplify the fraction, and that gives us 1/3. Okay, so that's it for finding the derivative of a function at a given point. So kung mapapansin natin, ang given sa atin is yung pinaka-function. Okay, the function and a given point. So at x is equal to 1. And then we get the derivative at that given point by using the formula for the slope of the tangent line. So now my question will be, what if there is no specific point given? So for example, we have to find the derivative of a given function any point. So wala tayong given na point. So function lang. Okay, so paano natin find yung derivative? So we have this formula. Okay, so meron tayong formula, di ba, ng slope, which is slope ng tangent line is equal to the f prime of x, that is equal to the derivative of y with respect to x. Okay, so ganito natin kino-compute, di ba? The limit of the change in y, okay, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 as the change approaches 0. Okay, so we get the limit of y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over the change in x. So dapat ginagawa natin, di ba, na maliit as possible yung dalawang point para makuha natin yung tangent line. Okay? So y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over the change in x as change in x approaches 0. Okay? So further simplifying itong y sub 2 and y sub 1, we have the f of x sub 2 minus f of x sub 1 over the change in x. And then, x sub 2, ano ba yung pangalawang point natin? Okay. So, aadan lang natin ng change in x. Okay. So, that change in x is equal to x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay. So, x sub 2 and x sub 1, okay, magkalapit lang po yan sa ating graph. Okay. So, di ba kanina we have the 2 points. Tapos nagkaroon tayo ng secant line. Okay. So, habang nilalapit natin yung dalawang point na yon sa isa't isa, okay, makaka-define tayo ng tangent line. So, yun yung concept na binibigay sa atin ng formula na to. So, we just have to get the limit of the f of x sub 1 plus small change in x. Okay. So, for example, ito yung x sub 1 natin. Adan ko ng napakaliit na change. So, that is x sub 1 plus change in x. Okay? So, nagkaroon na tayo ng dalawang value or dalawang point. So, that is computing the limit of f of x sub 1 plus change in x minus f of x sub 1 over the small change. As that small change, okay, approaches 0. Okay, so pinapaliit natin as much as possible yung small change na yon to find the equation of or the slope of the tangent line. Okay, so for our final formula, okay, pag wala tayong given na point at any point, limit of f of x sub x plus h, yun yung h is also the small change in x. So x plus h minus f of x all over h. As that h approaches 0. So ito lang yung pinaka-formula na gagamitin natin. Okay? So now let's have an example. So let's find the derivative of f of x is equal to 5x squared minus 6x plus 8 at any point. Okay? So dito, wala tayong given na point. Again, function lang yung given natin. So hahanapin lang natin yung formula para makuha natin yung slope at any point. Okay, so we have okay, so in finding the derivative of f of x is equal to 5x squared minus 6x plus 8 at any point, so we will use the formula limit of x f of x plus h minus f of x over h as h approaches 0. Okay, using this formula, so we will have to substitute. Okay, so paano ba yung f of x plus h? Okay, so itong buong x plus h natin ay isa-substitute natin sa x sa ating function. Each x sa ating function magiging x plus h. Okay, so gawin natin. So the limit of f of x plus h magiging 5 times x plus h squared minus 6 times x plus h plus 8. Okay? So, hindi pa tapos. F of x plus h pa lang yon. So, we have minus f of x. Ano yung f of x natin? Yun yung given na function. So, we have 5x squared minus 6x plus 8. Okay? All over h. Okay? As h approaches 0. Okay? So, isi-simplify natin yung expression na yan para makuha natin yung pinaka sagot or yung derivative. Okay? F prime of x. So, f prime of x. Okay? So, simplify natin. F prime of x is equal to the limit of x plus h squared. Okay? So, 5 times x squared plus okay, 2hx plus h squared minus 6 times x plus h is 6x plus or 6x minus 6h plus 8 minus 5x squared. Okay, minus lahat tong buong function na yan. So, may iba lahat ng sign ng ating bawat term. So, magiging negative or minus negative 6x will become positive 6x minus 8. Okay? All over h as h approaches 0. So further simplify, that becomes the limit of 5x squared plus 10hx plus 5h squared minus 6x minus 6h plus 8 minus 5x squared plus 6x minus 8. Okay? So let's find common terms. Okay? So lahat ng mga may x squared na kasama. Okay? So ito po 'yon. So 5x squared tapos negative 5x squared. So yun lang 'yon. So 5x squared minus 5x Okay, that is over h pa rin as h approaches 0. Okay. So yung common terms, pagsasamahin natin, 5x squared minus 5x squared makakancel. Okay. So 10hx, wala siyang katulad. So 5h squared okay. So ang matitira ay si 10hx, wala siyang katulad na variable. Okay, 5h squared, okay, walang h squared. So negative 6x tapos positive 6x makaka-cancel out. Negative 6h, okay, meron ba? So wala. So positive 8 tsaka negative 8 makaka-cancel out. Okay? So ang natira na lang sa numerator natin, we have the f prime of x that is equal to the limit of, okay, so 5h squared plus 10hx and then minus 6h all over h. Okay? As h approaches 0. Okay? So we will factor out the h para ma-cancel yung h sa denominator. So f prime of x is equal to the limit of h multiply to 5h. So finactor out ko lang yung h. Lahat sila may h sa numerator. So 5h plus 10x na lang minus 6 all over h as h approaches 0. So, cancel out na si h, nawala na si h sa denominator. So, f prime of x is equal to the limit of, natira na lang is 5h plus 10x minus 6 all over h as h approaches 0. Okay? I'm sorry, I forgot. Wala na palang h sa denominator. Okay? So, evaluate na natin yung limit for this expression. Evaluating the limit, we just have to substitute 0 sa ating h. Okay? So, may h pa tayong natira sa first term. Thus, we have f prime of x is equal to 5 times 0 plus 10x minus 6. That will be equal to 10x minus 6. Okay? And finally, we got the derivative of our function at any given point. Okay? So, kung mapapansin natin, parang function yung nakuha natin, which is 10x minus 6. Alright? So, ang final answer po natin dito ay yung 10x minus 6. Okay? So, that will be our f prime of x 10x minus 6. Okay? So, we can use that para makuha yung derivative at any given point. So, for example, binigyan na tayo ng given na point which is x equal to 1. Okay? Find the derivative of the function at x is equal to 1 for this function. Since nakuha na natin yung derivative niya at any given point, pwede na nating i-substitute tong 1 sa ating first derivative. So f prime of 1, that will be 10 times 1 minus 6. And the slope will be 10 minus 6 will be equal to 4. Okay? So, nakuha na natin yung f prime of x at x is equal to 1. Okay? 4. And that is also the slope of the tangent line. Okay? So, but wala namang tinatanong at any given point naman. So, formula ang ating makukuha dyan palagi. Okay? So, again, our final answer for this example is f prime of x is equal to 10x minus 6. All right. And, and that concludes. Okay, so this week's lesson about the derivative of a function. So thank you very much for watching this video.